Hello and welcome to my graduate conducting recital. Your presence, whether here in the hall or watching the live stream, is appreciated. I would not be on this stage today without the support and encouragement, and I am crying already. Goodness, I am so sorry. I would not be on this stage today without the support and encouragement of many people along my journey. In particular, I would like to thank my recital committee members, Dr. Kelly St. Pierre, Dr. Timothy Shade, and Dr. Ryan Beeken. And of course, today's performance would not be possible if it were not for the assistance of the wonderful Helen Griffin at the keyboard. In my teaching career, I have placed a strong emphasis in my classroom on mental health and inclusion. I believe that the music wing, goodness gracious, I'm so sorry. I believe that the music wing of a school is a special place where students can build lasting relationships with both each other and with teachers. As I have lived with the music we are presenting tonight, I have recognized an overarching theme. You are enough. My hope is that tonight's performance can remind you that you are enough and that there are communities that care for you regardless of where you find yourself in life. Our first selection, Where the Light Begins, was composed by Susan LaBarr, who resides in Springfield, Missouri. LaBarr cites composer Alice Parker, who she studied with in 2012 and 2013, as one of her biggest influences, saying that Parker helped her to understand the use of counterpoint in composition. Where the Light Begins opens with a unison line in the choir with simple piano accompaniment. The right hand of the piano sets up a steady pulse that remains strong throughout. As the piece develops, LaBarr increases the harmonic complexity of the voices and adds rhythmic complexity in the piano. The melody is passed between voice parts at times, reminiscent of some of Alice Parker's compositions. The vocal lines begin to separate rhythmically, first with the soprano one line becoming separate from the homorythmic texture that has been established. The rhythm is lightly syncopated and, to me, evokes the feeling of a wheel spinning. This wheel idea is later reinforced when LaBarr sets the voices to one-beat staggered entrances in echoes of each other. The final four measures of the composition are a repeat of the opening music, bringing the song to a full circle conclusion, enforcing the idea that perhaps it does not begin, perhaps it is always. The text of the piece comes from a poem written by Jan Richardson. LaBarr has chosen to not set the entirety of the text, and towards the end added the line, "We are where the light begins," serving as a powerful reminder that it is the constant little kindnesses we do that bring light to the world. Robert Schumann was a German romantic composer who lived from 1810 to 1856 and wrote in almost every musical genre of the time period, often seeming to focus on a single genre before moving to another. The Romantic era is known for its more extreme dynamic ranges, extended and more dissonant harmonies, emphasis on emotional and dramatic portrayals, and composers being more particular about what texts they set, even sometimes modifying texts to better reflect the musical ideas they are communicating. Ich bin geliebt is the 9th song of 10 in Schumann's Spanisches Liederspiel, or Spanish song plays, a collection of songs set to poems originally written in Spanish that were translated to German by poet Emanuel von Geibel. Composed in 1849, the set is a collection of chamber music, also called parlor music. Chamber music is music originally composed for solo singers. The music tends to be more virtuosic, with wide ranges and melodic leaps. The piano acts as an independent voice and also displays a high level of complexity and skill. While many Romantic-era pieces use non-standard scales and modes, Schumann has favored tertian harmony in this piece. Use of parallel thirds and sixths is pervasive, and much of the tension is built with extended harmony chords. The repeated chorus, which translates to "Whoever loves me, I love in return and know that I am loved," is set to a slower tempo, and the rhythms encourage the use of rubato. Schumann includes the instructions mit Innigkeit, meaning with intimacy. The word love is accompanied by a large melodic leap upward, emphasizing its importance in the poetry. Between the choruses, we find faster sections of music to deliver the rest of the text. They make use of musical repetitions, both passing music between voice parts and recycling musical ideas between verses. When the poetry talks about honor, Schumann sets it to a musical idea reminiscent of a military march. In the final statement of the chorus, Schumann chooses to begin with all 4 voice parts singing, as opposed to the solely alto section used in previous instances. Additionally, the music lacks instructions to slow the tempo for this final statement. With these changes, Schumann literally sets the text in a more powerful way. I see the use of the whole chorus as a reminder that love is found in community, not in a single voice. After setting the full chorus text twice, as he has in previous times, he continues to set the text, I am loved, repeating it another 8 times. These repetitions overlap within the sections before they crescendo into the final 2 homorhythmic statements. In this ending, Schumann makes a strong declaration that the idea of I am loved is most important. I thought my choir would be back in here by now. If you're listening, choir, you can come in. Composers Sarah Quartel and Elaine Hagenberg both work to bring text painting, the process of writing music that reflects the words and ideas of the poetry, to the forefront of their compositions. Quartel believes strongly in the community that choral music can create and often chooses poetry that reflects this. Her compositional style echoes her history as a singer-songwriter, using a clear melodic line against accompanying figures and other voices. Hagenberg's music is inspired strongly by the poetry she selects. She strives to make her melodies feel like they are one with the texts. In There Alway Something Sings, Quartel's first use of prolonged dissonance appears on the word foul between the sopranos and tenors. When the poetry discusses the meanest things or the mud and scum, Quartel slows the tempo and makes use of minor modes before returning us to our home key of D major on the phrase something sings, always setting the chord with an ascending, uplifting idea. The final prolonged word of the song moves from a root position D major chord to a second inversion with hints of a G minor chord found in the piano and tenor voice before returning to its root position at the ending, reminding us that even when things are difficult, we can still find comfort and grounding. In Measure Me Sky, Hagenberg uses arpeggiated patterns that quickly ascend to higher ranges and rhythms that make us feel as if we're soaring through the air. On the word reach, Hagenberg makes use of a melodic leap to give the image of stretching out towards something. Hagenberg says she was inspired that the poet Leonora Spire first started writing poetry in her 40s. To reflect this, Hagenberg sets the music to an ascending key change, calling us to venture into the unknown to discover our limitless potential. William Byrd was a late Renaissance English composer. Byrd and his contemporary and friend Thomas Tallis were the only two composers in England granted use of the printing press by Queen Elizabeth I. A typical Renaissance motet is set with imitative polyphony, where voice parts overlap their texts and pass melodic ideas between each other. Ave Verum Corpus is an example of a motet from the late Renaissance. Written for the Catholic Church in Anglican England, Byrd was following guidelines set out by the Council of Trent. This council was a response to the Reformation movement and worked to clarify doctrine and practices in the Catholic faith. It encouraged composers to focus on clarity of text and began to unify what sacred music looked like in the Mass. Rather than being full of imitative polyphony, Ave Verum Corpus uses a more homorhythmic compositional style. Like other Renaissance motets, musical lines are influenced strongly by the text. In an effort to present a historically informed performance, the singers were given modernized part books. The music they are using has only their part shown and does not have meter nor bar lines. The goal of this is to encourage each section to present their own line as a melodic idea with stresses that follow the contour and natural declamation of the text, rather than the rigidity of barred meter. The text recounts the death of Jesus on the cross and asks for his mercy. In his setting, Byrd chooses to repeat the final request for mercy and does begin to implement some imitative polyphony. Byrd specifically repeats miserere mei, or have mercy on me, with a pleading melodic idea. Throughout, you hear evidence of the gradual shift from Renaissance counterpoint to the harmonic structures that would become prevalent in the Baroque. On many occasions, the choir comes together at the end of a section with ideas that resemble a harmonic cadence. These cadential moments often land on what we would assume to be the tonic or dominant chords. Hernani Aguiar's Salmo 150 employs medieval-inspired harmonies, but is actually a modern composition. Composed in 1975 under the title Salmus CL, CL being the Roman numerals for 150, it was published under the title Salmo 150 in 1993 as part of a series by Earth Songs. The editor on that project, Maria Guinand, describes Aguiar's compositional style as very rhythmic with rapid articulations. The text comes from the final chapter in the Book of Psalms, which serves as a concluding doxology for all 150 psalms, calling on believers to praise God with multiple instruments and voices. As mentioned, the harmonies of Salmo 150 look back to early music. It is reminiscent of plainsong. Working around a tonal center of A, it employs mostly perfect intervals and includes parallel fourths, fifths, and octaves, treating these as the primary consonances, as opposed to the thirds and sixths that we are used to hearing. The melodic material contains mostly stepwise motion and covers a small range. In a short B section, Aguiar moves the tonal center by a half step, jarring the listener before returning to the original center of A. Throughout, the rhythm maintains a relentless forward momentum in a driving compound meter until the final Alleluia. Romantic composer Joseph Rheinberger wrote primarily for organ. The selections we are presenting today come from Rheinberger's second setting of the Stabat Mater text, written in 1884. This setting was intended for church use and therefore uses a more conservative structure and harmonies that contrast other Romantic music of the time. The harmonies employed are mostly diatonic, and the final fugue harken back to Baroque compositional styles. Rheinberger himself only composed the organ, choral, and lower string parts. He wrote one page of full orchestration and then tasked one of his students, Johann Cavallo, to complete the orchestration. Rheinberger uses a recurring melodic idea throughout the entirety of the work. The melody line opens with motion that surrounds a singular home pitch before leaping a sixth up and proceeding in a stepwise motion downwards. You will hear this in the opening melody of both movements. The Stabat Mater is a presentation of Mary's grief over the body of her son Jesus on the cross, and a plea to allow us to grieve with her. The fugue is a constant repetition of the Stabat Mater's concluding text, "When my body perishes, grant that my soul be given the glory of paradise." At the end of the movement, the word paradisio is set to a descending line going across all four voice parts, painting the idea of something coming down from the heavens. Sean Kirchner's Unclouded Day also describes heavenly paradise, but in a starkly contrasting fashion. Unclouded Day is the first song from Kirchner's Heavenly Home, 3 American songs. The tune was written by a preacher from the 1800s, Josiah K. Allwood, after he witnessed a rainbow against a dark cloud covering half the sky on his way home from a church. Kirchner originally learned the tune as a banjo piece and arranged the choral version when a choir he was a part of wanted to sing more American folk music on a tour in Hungary. Originally written as an unaccompanied setting, Kirchner wrote the choral parts to include accompaniment figures with counterpoint and fuguing textures. The strings and piano parts were written and added several years later. The text and music lends itself to unbounded joy. The melodic idea, first presented in the soprano section, steadily ascends from its beginning and eventually spans just over an octave. The composition builds to a high point, putting every voice part in the top of its range on an extended 5 chord for the phrase, "in the city that is made of gold," while at the same time making use of a bar of 3/2 meter to extend the moment of tension before resolving to a tonic chord as we sing, "O the land of cloudless days." Kirchner presents a different idea of paradise than Rheinberger shows us at the conclusion of his Stabat Mater. While Rheinberger ends his composition with tranquility and calmness, Kirchner describes paradise as filled with unbounded joy and celebration. As LaBarr reminded us, it is our acts that bring light. Schumann reminded us we are all loved. Quartel and Hagenberg reminded us that even when things are difficult, we can be lifted up and try something new. Aguiar invites us to celebrate, and Byrd encourages us to ask for help and mercy. Rheinberger and Kirchner show us that there is an unclouded sky ahead after difficult times. Thank you for coming to my recital this evening, and please enjoy our final 2 selections, and always remember that you are enough.
absolutely.